I want to thank a few folks, and bear with me, I'll keep this short. I want to thank President Trump for his support, his endorsement, and his counsel as I navigated this campaign, which is a journey of unto itself, and for his courageous leadership of our nation at this critical time. I want to emphasize that, this critical time and juncture in history. Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank my family that have endured this campaign in many ways that have been so unfair to them. I want to thank my team back here, and this is some of them here. Round of applause.
I should get some sleep.
Hey, what's up? Hi. Navigator, great news today. Thomas Massie had just been defeated by his political opponent, Bill Gallrein, and now he's out. Just like Cassidy. Like Indiana rhinos. Yeah, it's rhino hunting season. Because, again, we're just done with you people. You do nothing but, heck, Thomas Massie has literally done nothing but sided with the Democrats on everything. And he was used by the Democrats, and willingly so, to put up a huge smear against President Trump, which was the Epstein files. And let's be honest, he didn't care about that. They just wanted to attack Trump because they never cared when Biden was in office, let's be honest. But yeah, and he's out, and again, no one's surprised by this. You went up against Trump, which is basically this going up against the MAGA and America first, and they're done with you. And it wasn't because, and you can't say he didn't spend enough money, because they spent I think $10 million in this, which is the most expensive race of this kind to get at the moment. And it was blown out. It wasn't even close. Here, take a look.
Fox News alert, polls are closing across the country. Major primary races going down in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky, where the AP projects Thomas Massie just lost. The results will tell us a lot about where voters feel about Trump and a lot about Democrats as well. And give us a clue about what to expect in the midterms. Bill Hemmer, co-anchor of America's Newsroom. What do we got, Hemmer?
This is where we are. A race has been called for Ed Gallrein, a newcomer to the political scene. He's a dairy farmer in the southwestern portion of this district, Congressional District 4. Thomas Massie, meanwhile, is a very well-known commodity. He has represented this district for 14 years, Jesse. And the president endorsed Gallrein, and Gallrein, the former Navy SEAL. The race has been called. He's got about an 8-9 point edge right now. That may be very close to the final point, the final margin in this race. So that was an endorsement on behalf of the White House and the president. Also in the state of Kentucky, this thing was really no contest. It was a three-way race on the Senate side. In Andy Barr, the former congressman, represented Lexington, northeastern section of there. He's trying to go for the Mitch McConnell seat after McConnell announced his retirement come end of this term. Andy Barr was endorsed by the president also. And Jesse, this race was called within minutes after polls closed. Three-way race, Daniel Cameron, the former attorney general. Really, some competition, but really not much when you're around 60% of the vote. So the president tonight in the bluegrass state of Kentucky, he's got a winner in the Senate for Andy Barr, and he's got a surprise winner, too, in the House with Ed Gallrein. So Gallrein now goes to the general. A district, by the way, that went for Donald Trump by 75% of the vote against Kamala Harris in 2004. This is Trump country, Congressional District 4, and Ed Gallrein, in all likelihood, will go to the House of Representatives come November. And what is another victory after a presidential endorsement tonight, Jesse?
All right, that's pretty big news. That was an expensive House race.
$33 million.
What's $33 million?
A primary race, right? For the House at $33 million.
Wow.
Most expensive we've ever seen.
And Texas is going to get pricey, too.
Yes, it will, on the Senate side.
Open up your wallets, you donors. Hemmer, good to see you. Thank you.
He said the Epstein files, something that went from seeming like a far-fetched dream to a reality. And he referenced that in his speech tonight. I want you to listen to what he told his supporters.
We need basic decency. That's what the Epstein Files Transparency Act was all about. By the way, today is the 6-month anniversary of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. We've taken out 24 CEOs, an ambassador, a prince, a prime minister, a minister of culture, and that was just 6 months. I got 7 months left in Congress.
I mean, first, what do you make of his loss tonight and what's to come potentially?
Thomas is a good friend, so I'm saddened just on a personal level. I was very angered over the last couple of days seeing the smears on his character. He's a good man. He put his career at risk to pass the most popular and consequential bipartisan legislation in the Epstein Transparency Act, probably in modern history. It pulls off the charts, and it was to hold the elites accountable for treating young girls as dispensable. And he lost his seat because he stood up against the Iran war. And the lesson really is that people who are against the Epstein class and against this war don't have a place in the Trump coalition. And look, he was winning voters under 45 by 30%. And if they don't have a place in the Trump coalition, there's a new movement that thinks this system is rotten and that wants to build for the working class against the Epstein class for Team America, and they're welcome to join this new movement.
Yeah, and I like it. And you're probably wondering, why is CNN and the Democrats sad that Thomas Massie lost? And it's simple. He was their ally. He voted with Democrats 99% of the time. He helped Democrats in their smear campaign against Trump with files which they don't care about. They don't care about any of the girls. And you know why? As soon as we got more, Democrat district judge saying, no, you can't release them. And yeah, and not only that, and every time when he don't get his way, he always goes to CNN and cry and saying that Trump is a racist and Trump is blah, 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 blah. So yeah, they're just sad that they're missing a comrade. And yeah, they need, rhinos are becoming an endangered species. And you know who else is probably scared right now? John Thune. Because he got to be the most hated. Because he's refusing to pass the SAVE Act. It's obvious he's a rhino. So yeah, he's done. Yeah, he's done. Especially if Scott Presler does what he's going to do. Yeah, he's done. John Thune, you're done. But it's not just that. Like, he did have a speech, and it did piss off a lot. And I'm going to be fine. He couldn't go out with grace, and at the end of his speech, he kind of got just nasty and somewhat anti-Semitic, which pissed off even Scott Jennings. Take a look.
For 14 years, those SOBs in Washington tried to buy my vote. They couldn't buy it. Why did the race get so expensive? Because they decided to buy the seat. And it got real expensive for them. Look, they used a lot of dirty tricks, but we stayed the course. SOBs in Washington tried to buy my vote. They couldn't buy it. Why did the race get so expensive? Because they decided to buy the seat. And it got real expensive for them. Look, they used a lot of dirty tricks, but we stayed the course. We didn't bend a knee. We didn't throw a foul ball. We didn't do any of those things. We didn't kneecap anybody. We had lots of opportunities to try a lot of stuff like that, and we never did it. I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Gallrein in Tel Aviv. I did get the call through, though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way.
It was the most expensive House primary in U.S. history, and the president made it a priority to get rid of Thomas Massie, and he succeeded because Massie had, frankly, become an opponent of the president inside of the party, and you just can't do that. You know, Massie used to, reliably vote with the Republicans. That number had been falling over time. This is one of the most conservative districts in the country. It's certainly a conservative area of Kentucky. They gave Donald Trump a massive victory in 2024, and they expect the Republican congressman who represents them to be part of the team. The two big issues in the race that were in most of the advertising had to do with tax cuts and immigration. And Massie was against Trump on both of his big border security and tax cut bills. And so they said, look, we can get a Republican congressman that'll be part of the team and support the president. That campaign worked. I just want to also add one other thing. Thomas Massie tonight in his concession speech said something despicable, anti-Semitic, nasty, gutter politics, right at the end. What a way to go out. He said, I would have called Ed Gallrein, but I had to find him in Tel Aviv. There was an undercurrent of anti-Semitism in this race on the Massie side. There's been an undercurrent of it in his career, unfortunately, and it really came out in an ugly way tonight. And I think it needs to be stated, acknowledged, and condemned because it was pretty despicable.
Yeah, and I agree with Scott Jennings. He couldn't go out with grace, so he just went out like a Democrat. And I'm not surprised he said an anti-Jewish thing because, let's be honest, the Democrats hate Jews. And this has been a bad day for the left, for the black-pilled right, for the Democrat Party as a whole, for the globalists, because now they don't have an inside betrayer. They do not have a Judas anymore. And I'd like to finish this episode off with a piece of the Bible that really does describe Thomas Massie in a way. Matthew 26:24. Judas agreed to betray Jesus. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priest and said, what are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you? And they counted out to him 30 pieces of silver. So from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. And yeah, that's just Thomas Massie. All he really done since Trump got back into office and before is just attack him. But that's been this episode, and everyone have a nice day. Come back again soon.